welcome back to Chaos in the Old World. And yes, I make mistakes every episode. Way back in the first episode, I mistakenly put a Khorne bloodletter over in Kislev, which was an illegal move, I left a note. I just wanted to bring that up now, and kind of can't really fix it. However, I can do one thing to mitigate that error. And what I'm going to do is, because Khorne never would have had a bloodletter over there in the first place, therefore he would not have got a kill in that area and would not have got his threat dial to move. So I know it's not going to fix the error, but at least it will even things out a little bit. I'm going to take his threat dial, I'm going to move it back one. And so the last thing he got on his threat dial was to draw 2 chaos cards. So I'm going to take those 2 chaos cards away from him. And that, like I said, does not correct the error, but at least it will sort of even it out a little bit, because he never should have had that dial turn in the first place. All right, let's begin round 3. We'll see if I can make it error-free. I know it's a stretch of the imagination, but I will try. All right, to begin with, we have the Old World phase. So let's zoom down on the Old World cards, and we'll flip one to begin round 3. All right, so beginning the game round, we flip over an Old World card. Oh, and this time we just have meteor showers. It says place 1 warpstone token in each of 3 different regions. Wow, this is good for us playing Tzeentch. Discard this card instead of adding it to the Old World track. Well, the person, wow, this is very good. The person with the lowest threat on their dial is us, Tzeentch. So we get to decide where these meteor showers take place. So we're going to decide as Tzeentch where 3 different warpstones are going to go. So 3 different regions. All right, let's go to the board and place the warpstones. All right, so the first of 3 different warpstones, or different locations for warpstones we're going to do, we're going to put another one in Bretonnia. So now there's 2 warpstone tokens here. And then we're just going to move down here. We're going to put the second one in Tilia. And cheating a little bit, we're going to put the third one in Estalia. So now we have 2 warpstones in Estalia. We actually have 2 warpstones up here in Bretonnia, and we just placed one down in Tilia. So it was nice of us, Tzeentch, being able to decide where to put those warpstones, because of course we put it to our benefit. All right, up next is the draw cards phase, and so we'll go over to our playmat areas and drop cards according to our gods' instructions. All right, so according to all the other gods, they each draw 2 cards, but us as Tzeentch, we only have 1 card left, so we draw up to 5 every time. So let's see which 4 new cards we pick. So we have Warp Shield. When you play this card, choose one of your figures in this region. That figure cannot be killed in battle this round. As a reminder, you place the figure on this card. We got Dazzle. During the corruption phase, 1 cultist in this region belonging to each of your opponents does not count for corruption token placement. We got the Meddling of Skaven. When you play this card, choose an opponent with figures in this region. A player must discard 2 chaos cards from his hand. And we have Temporal Stasis, and it says the cost for your opponents to summon figures to this region and play chaos cards in this region is increased by 2. Wow, that's nasty. All right, those are our new cards. We also had a Warp Shield from before. And now we're going to get into the summoning phase. And the summoning phase starts, of course, with Khorne. And I've adjusted our power levels to where they should be on the cards, and Khorne gets +1 because of Power of Blood upgrade card, so he's going to start with 8. So let me think about this. Khorne's going to begin either summoning or playing cards. Okay, so Khorne is going to spend 2, going from 8 down to 6, and he's going to play a card. And the card he's going to play is the Blood God's Call. We've seen this one before. It says when you play this card, immediately move up to 2 of your figures to this region from any other region or region. So let's go to the board and see where he's going to play that card. Okay, bit of a long shot here. He's going to play it in Kislev, and he is going to move his exiled Norska bloodletter over to Kislev. So he's just moving one. He's not going to move. He's going to leave his cultist here. And that's his turn. Over to Nurgle. Right, Nurgle is also going to spend 1 power point and play a card, Reign of Pus. What a lovely title for a card. Costing him 1, of course. It says the defense value of each of your figures in this region is increased by 1. Good stuff. Where's Nurgle going to put that? Let's find out. Of course, Nurgle is going to place it up here in Kislev, which means now his cultists have a defense of 2, and so does his Plaguebearer warriors. So, good stuff for Nurgle. He's going to be tough to take out of that area. Over to us, Zinch. All right, so we are going to spend 1 power point, and we're going to play a card, and we're going to play Temporal Stasis. If it will focus, I don't know if it will. It says, the cost of your opponents to summon figures into this region and play chaos cards in this region is increased by 2. That's massive. Let's go to the board and place that card. Yes, we're going to place it down here in Astalia. So if Khorne wants to bring units in here to beat on us, he's going to be paying an awful price to do it. All right, over to Slaanesh. All right, Slaanesh is going to spend 2 power points and play a card. And Slaanesh is going to play Field of Ecstasy. And it says, none of the figures in this region roll battle dice this round. Okay, so let's see where they're going to play that card. All right, Slaanesh, tired of being beaten down in the Empire, playing that card here. So it means there's going to be no battle dice rolled in the Empire this turn. Back to Khorne. All right, Khorne is going to spend 1 power point, and they are going to play a card, and they're going to counter a Slaanesh, and they're playing Battle Cry. No corruption tokens may be placed in this region during this round. All right, let's go to the board and see where Khorne's placing that card. All right, so Khorne's thinking if no battles can take place in this region, well, guess what? There's going to be no corruption either. So Khorne places the card in the Empire. Over to Nurgle. All right, Nurgle back to corruption. He's going to spend 1 power point and summon a cultist to the board. Let's go find out where. Yeah, not a real surprise. Nurgle putting another cultist in Kislev. Over to us, Zinch. All right, Zinch, we're going to play another card. We're going to spend 1 power point, and we're going to play the Meddling of Skaven. And it is, when you play this card, choose an opponent with figures in this region. That player must discard 2 chaos cards from his hand. Let's go to the board, place the card. Yes, we don't like Khorne, so we're going to play it in Bretonnia. Khorne has a figure here. Khorne has to discard 2 cards. He only has 2 cards in his hand. Oh, that's too bad. Now he has none. All right, over to Slaanesh. All right, Slaanesh spending 1 power point, and they're going to put a cultist onto the board. All right, Slaanesh spreading out a little bit. He's going to take a cultist and put it in Bretonnia. All right, over to Khorne. All right, Khorne going to spend 2 power points and bring in a battle, a warrior. Let's go to the board and place that warrior. All right, Khorne going to put a bloodletter into Bretonnia. And now we're over to Nurgle. All right, Nurgle going to bring in another cultist to the board. Let's go and place that. Yep, looks like Nurgle has one thing on the mind, and that is corrupting Kislev. So we place the cultist there. Over to Zinch. All right, Zinch, we're going to spend 1 power point. And we're going to play, oh, sorry, we're not spending any power points. Let me back that up because it's a 0-cost card. We're going to play Warp Shield. And when you play this card, choose one of your figures in this region. That figure cannot be killed in battle this round. As a reminder, you may place the figure on the card. So let's go place that card on the board. All right, so we're going to do that in Bretonnia, Warp Shield, and we're going to take our cultist here and we're going to place it on the card as a reminder that it cannot be killed in battle. All right, over to Slaanesh. All right, Slaanesh is going to spend 1 power point, and he's going to move 1 figure on the board. So it's still a summoning act, but he's moving a figure from an adjacent location to another one. Instead of taking a new figure and placing it on the board. Let's go to the board and do that. All right, seeing that Khorne has a bloodletter here, Slaanesh is going to move this cultist over to the Empire. And now Khorne has nobody to beat on because that particular cultist is protected, and none of the figures in the region in the Empire roll battle dice this turn. So Back to Khorne, who's looking a little frustrated, but he's still here. All right, Khorne going to spend 2 power points, bringing in another Bloodletter. Let's find out where. All right, Khorne is going to summon another Bloodletter into Kislev to join his other Bloodletter. Okay, over to Zinch. Oh, no, sorry, over to Nurgle next. All right, Nurgle going to spend a power point, and they are going to bring in, yes, another cultist. Nurgle, another cultist in Kislev. He is just trying to overwhelm that area. And now it's over to Zinch. Okay, for Zinch, we're going to spend 1 power point, and we're going to bring a cultist onto the board. Let's go and do that. All right, into Astalia, another cultist is born. All right, next we are into Slaanesh. All right, Slaanesh going to spend 1 power point. They are going to bring a cultist on the board. In the Empire, let's go and place it. All right, another cultist into the Empire. Building up, I guess, for next time, since no corruption tokens can be placed there, but there you have it. All right, back to Khorne. All right, Khorne only has 1 power point left. He's going to spend it. He's going to bring a cultist onto the board. Let's find out where. All right, Khorne has decided to bring another cultist onto the board in Bretonia. He is now at 0, so he's out of the summoning phase. Over to Nurgle. Nurgle will spend 1 power point and bring in a cultist in Kislev. So let's go and do that. All right, this is his last cultist of 6 going into Kislev. For Nurgle, up next is Zinch. All right, as Zinch, we are also going to spend a power point for another cultist. Let's go to the board and place it. Indeed, no surprise here. We're going to place another cultist in Astalia. Over to Slaanesh, who only has 1 power point left. All right, Slaanesh going to spend 1 power point, their last one, and bring in, yes, another cultist. This time, they're actually going to bring a cultist down here in the Border Princes. And so that brings Slaanesh to 0. Khorne is at 0. Let's go over to Nurgle. He has 1 power point. All right, Nurgle's going to spend his last power point. He's going to bring in a Plague Bearer. And let's go find out where he's going to bring the Plague Bearer Warrior. No real shock or surprise. He's bringing the Plague Bearer Warrior into Kislev. He is now at 0. The only one with power points left is us. Zinch, we have 2 left. Let's go to our player card and see what we're going to do. All right, since we're the only player with power points left, I'm just going to do them both at once. We're going to do 1, 2 down to 0, and we're going to summon in 2 cultists to the board. Let's go and summon them in. And the only reason I'm doing it in this turn order is because, like I said, we're the only ones with power points left. So we're just going to finish up with 2 cultists. Back to the board. All right, so 1 cultist, of course, is going to go into Astalia, but we are going to put the other cultist into Tilia, which is just adjacent here. And I'm just going to zoom out, and we're going to finish up the first half of round 3. All right, this is going to wrap up the first half of turn 3. I really hope I haven't been making mistakes, but I probably have been, and they will probably be caught in the comments, which I do appreciate. Please point out mistakes so I can at least try to fix them, or at least leave comments so others watching know how to play the game properly and not like I play it by making a bunch of errors. All right, so up next is going to be the second half of round 3, which will begin with the battles. Looks like there's going to be battles in Kislev. And that's the only place we're going to have a battle. So that is also the place where Nurgle has +1 defense on all of his units. So his cultists take 2 hits to take out. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Join me next time for the continuation and conclusion of round 3 of Warhammer Chaos in the Old World. Thanks so much for watching, and join me next time.